Hello, this is Bridget around with Divine Essentials. Hi guys, how are you? I am still awake from yesterday. Um, my my Instagram was hacked by somebody, a scammer, and they got some people's money, and so that put me behind on a lot of things because I was interacting with everybody in my comments and in my messages, and so then I was up all night long, aggravated. Before I recorded, I had to calm down for the ancient Egyptian stuff, and then today I was trying to get some things done, and it was like nothing would work. So here I am. I'm gonna do the next part of Alcyone Light Healing, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. So again, we're on week 13, but we're moving on to part 13, and we're going to talk about the Akashic Records and how to access the library. And also, I'm going to give you your homework, your part 2 of your homework. I think we talked about this, but I didn't say, you have to do it. So I want to make sure that you've at least done the first part of your homework, and your next part of your homework you at least know about. Okay, so the first part was about practicing the vortex with your own words and intentions. Opening pillars of light with and without the vortex. You should have been cutting your cords on a regular basis with Archangel Michael, clearing your aura. And so part 2 is more so using your vortex to anchor into specific places. So we've talked a little bit about this, and what we're doing today would be a perfect experience or perfect place to use to connect, going to the Akashic Records. So you could intend to connect with that specific place of, I want to connect with the Akashic Records. So I'm going to anchor in to the Akashic Records. And wherever you decide to go, whether it's the Akashic Records, if it's Sirius, if it's Pleiades, if it's Lyra, if it's a past life, if it's a place on the earth, if it's wherever you decide you want to go, you just open that vortex and allow it to anchor into that place. Or you can anchor into source, which is the houses the information of everything. So if you're trying to go somewhere that you don't really know exactly where to go, you want to go to source and ask source to download the information of where you're trying to go. Say you're like, I want to connect to the past life, but I don't know where that past life was. I'm going to go to source, and I'm going to set the intention that I connect to the past life that source has that information connected to, is going to bring it down through the vortex for me so I can access it. So I want you to start practicing that, using your vortex to anchor in to different places, and then also make sure you use it to anchor into the Akashic Records, getting to a meditative state, and allow yourself to connect and retrieve some soul information, and then journal your experiences. So after I'm done talking about the Akashic Records, you should have a better idea about connecting with them and maybe what you'd want to ask and things like that. But I do think it's a good idea after you connect to write down your experiences so that you remember what you connected with or what you got, and then the next time you do it, you'll have more to go off of. So basically, there's records of the records all over the world. People have talked about the Akashic Records in all different types of religions. They always have different names for the Akashic Records, but they're basically all coming down to the same thing. It's a record of all of your thoughts, all of your deeds, all of your words, all of your actions, from this life, from your past lives, from your past, present, future, basically all coexisting. Everything that you've done, everything that you're gonna do in potential form is existing in these records. And the ones that are in potential form, it's not like you're gonna go in and see exactly what's going to play out for your future, because we are always creating our future. So you may see potential, or you may even see a potential version of things where it's there's timelines. I see timelines where when people ask me about their future, I see 3 or 4 timelines that are probable for them, and sometimes they're on one that's really strong, And I feel like that's their most probable one, but if they decide to kind of veer off, they're going to end up over here in this timeline, or if they're going to end up over here in this timeline. But I see like 3 or 4 of them, you know, lined up. There's multiples of them, but usually these 4 like light up a little bit brighter. Those are the ones that they're going to be like navigating on. So you may see something like that if you were to, you know, specifically connect with your future self. But basically, it's, you know, a past, present, future place. It's going to be like a library of information. Helena Blavatsky, Blavatsky, I can't say it, but I know her name. I've heard it many times. She's been in a lot of, you know, like documentaries. Edgar Casey, Helena Blavatsky, I can't think of it. Blavatsky. Helena Blavatsky. She was one of the first people to actually, you know, get like noted about it, or like get, you know, popular, connecting with these things and bringing it forth the information of the Akashic records. And she was said to have learned from Mahatmas, which are basically monks, or like Tibetan priests. And they are ones that claim that the records are found in the Akasha, and that's their word for astral light. And in other religions, that means ether. So basically, it's in the astral realm, it's in the consciousness, it's in the energies and frequencies. It's not like a physical place where you go connect. It's not going to be the same for you and me. It's going to be a representation of energy and frequency on a level that we're comfortable seeing it. Just like when we see or connect with our guides, I've brought people into a meditation, all people in the same room with each other. They've all got the same energies and frequencies coming in. They all come back and report to me, you know, I saw this person wearing white, and I saw this lady with white hair, and I saw this person wearing a white gown, and I saw all white beings, and I saw all white glowy things, and blah, 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 blah. But the common denominator throughout the whole room was white, 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 white. So everybody was connecting with this pure frequency of white. But they all interpreted it their own way. So same thing with the Akashic records. The Akashic records exist, energy and frequency though. So your consciousness is going to depict that to you in a specific way. So you may see them as a library, or you may see them as a long scroll, or you may see thousands of scrolls. You may see something else. Like, I don't want to talk too much about this because we're going to talk about this in level 3, but I've seen the version for myself here in the physical world, like, you know, the 3D, like, world with library, right? With having, like, you know, an actual library with books. And then I've seen the galactic version where it's not, you know, a place with books. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I've seen 2 versions of the Akashic records. And so you may see 2 versions yourself. And basically, they're there for you to connect with them. Edgar Casey, like I said, he was also one who had claimed to connect with the, he called them the storehouse of information in the non-physical plane. So again, in the ether, in the energy, in the frequency, in our consciousness. It's out there, outside of us, but it's also inside of us because we've got to go within to get there. So basically, if you're wanting to connect to the Akashic records, you want to, you know, basically come up with like what it is that you want to know. You know, you don't want to just be like willy-nilly. I mean, you could go willy-nilly in, but you still want to have an intention, at least the intention of, I want to connect to the Akashic records, because if not, it's unlikely that you're going to. You know, there's some people who I feel may stumble in there, and it's probably not really them stumbling in there. It's usually like a guide guiding them there for a particular reason. But if you're wanting to end up there, you should probably have a set intention. And you can even state to your guides, if you know who your guides are, you know, hey, I would like to go to the Akashic records, or I'd like to see the Akashic records, or I want to access the records of this, the records of whatever it is that you want to access. And if you don't know your guides, you can still ask, you know, whoever's up there, whoever's connecting with me, whoever's guiding me, assisting me, who's ever showing me all this synchronicity and doing all these things, could you take me to the Akashic records? You know, And then you basically go within. Like I was saying, this is something that it may be in the ether, or it, we perceive it as outside of us. But again, just like the mystery teachings, these are things that we need to go within to receive. So you want to go within and meditate. And you can do that in a myriad of ways. When I say go in and meditate, I know personally that like I'm not somebody that likes to like lay down in meditation a lot. I receive more through playing the bowls and guiding a meditation. I go on the journey that I'm guiding. But when, you know, it's me by myself, sometimes I will lay down and I'll listen to one of the ones that I've channeled and I just fall asleep. But I've noticed that like movement works for me well, like getting into the flow of things. Like when I go into a healing session, this is the thing, I'm always working on someone else in order for me to connect really good. I don't know why. It's like when it comes to just connecting for me, I'm like, eh. But when it comes to, hey, can you do a healing session? I'm like, sure. And I receive a lot from giving. So that's one of the ways you could do it too. If you're finding that you're not like a big meditator, in the traditional sense, you could do it through healing sessions. And I find that like a steady movement of going back and forth nice and slow is one of those ways to get into an altered state of consciousness. When I do the meditation, I'm doing a continuous, around the bowl. Or when I'm not in a room with the dogs, I play the drum in a steady beat with the drum. Dun, dun. Or I play a certain soundtrack that's going to have, something going on in it that's kind of repetitive, like the om and the drum and things that are kind of like bringing you into an altered place. So you can use music, you can use your body movement, you can use yoga, you could do going for a walk, somewhere out in the woods where there's not going to be a bunch of people and loud distractions and things like that, somewhere where you can just kind of be alone with your thoughts and kind of go into another place. But however you want to connect, there's tons of different ways to connect through meditation. And then you may, when you go in, meet a guide who will escort you through, or you may come to a library of books directed to the one with info in it on your own. Or you may just see or know some experience that plays out in front of you, like in your mind's eye. Or you may see like a projector that comes up, or a movie screen that comes up. Or like I said, you might see scrolls come out. Everybody sees it differently. Everybody connects with it differently. Some people have to have guides. And that's the thing. Some people have the belief that you have to have a guide you in, that there's, certain guides that guide you in. And if you don't have those certain guides, you're not going, and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that, and I don't, because I haven't had that experience. So, basically, I feel like it's dependent upon you and your beliefs. If you believe that you need to have a guide to go in, then you're probably going to need a guide to go in, because your thoughts create your reality. So, whatever you're believing is what you're going to be thinking and seeing and creating. So, try not to limit yourself with these things. I find that this and one of like other things that people really get caught up in is like astral travel. And I even myself, because when I wanted to do astral travel or lucid dreaming, which is basically being in control of your dream instead of going to sleep and dreaming, you're asleep but your conscious is awake, and so your body is at rest, but your etheric body comes out of your physical body, and you kind of direct where you go, and you direct your dream, and you know where you're at. And I've been able to get myself up and out of my body. I actually got stuck out of my body one time, and that was kind of scary, but I went through like all the levels of it, I was like, oh my god, this is so bad, oh my god, and then I was like, well, it's not so bad. Like I went to, as soon as I hit acceptance, I was like, boom, back into my body. But it was a pretty quick process of like, yeah, it's better than where I am, because I was living in the basement at that time. But I find people do this thing where they build it up so much in their mind, or they think that they need to do certain things, because like if you ask, how do I do a lucid dream, or how do I astral travel, they give you all these rules and all these ways, and this is the best way to do it, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do this, and blah, 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 blah. And it's unrealistic, especially for me with dogs, because they're like, you can't move, nothing around you can move. Like, well, that's out, because they move constantly, and I have no room. So, you know, there was times that I was able to deal with them and still connect on that level. So I know it's not true, but I think that's one of the things that really limited me in trying to get out in the first place, was listening to people tell you what you have to and can't do and all of those things. So when it comes to the Akashic Records, I have the same perspective on it, where it's like, don't allow other people to make you feel like you know, have to do a certain thing, or you can't do it this way, or, you know, just do what feels right for you. And, you know, don't look too much into stuff that's gonna, like, you know, brainwash you into thinking certain shit. And then when you do connect, you shouldn't be in fear or in having a negative experience. Like, if you are having fear, or if you're having a negative experience, it's most likely coming from yourself, because you're anxious about it, because you don't know what to expect, you don't know what you're going to see, you don't know where you're going, you don't know who's going to be there. So, I mean, it's the same thing with astral travel. I think they're very similar things and concepts, to be honest. You know, like the way of getting to them and things like that. It's like, you can really mess yourself up before you ever even attempt it by overthinking it. So try to just go with the flow of it and not create resistance to it by wanting it too much, because that's something people do, or by believing that it's going to be something bad, because it's not. Like, nobody goes in there and has like this horrible negative experience. I know some people equate like the Akashic Records with karma, because it's like a record of everything good and bad you've done, and, you know, every experience you've lived, and it's just there. It's just a record of it. It's nobody's like sitting there with like the, hey, you go to this side because you're jerks, you know, whatever. It's just, those things are there. And if you're living in some way at this time in this life because of something you did in a prior life, you're going to want to know about it. And you're only going to see what you're ready to see. So if there's something in there that's traumatic, or something in there that, you know, is not the best thing for you, that you're going to react to in a not so good way, you're not going to see it until you're ready to see it. And maybe there will be an experience in there that's not like, woo, that was great, I'm so glad that I saw me, you know, traumatized, I'm so glad that I saw me whatever. But you will not see it unless you're ready to see it. You may not feel like you were ready to see it when you see it, but you won't see things unless you're ready to see them. You won't go places unless you're ready to go there. Everything happens for a reason. Everything, you know, comes to us when we're, you know, putting out the right vibration to receive those things. So some people access it on their first attempt, and some people may need to build up a connection to trusting that they can see it. And then there's, you know, different ways that you can do it. You can do it with automatic writing, which for me, I find automatic writing to be one of like the easiest ways for me to connect. I don't know why. It's like, once I just put my pen to the paper, it's a blah, 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 it just writes out. And that may be something for you to try at least and see, you know, can I write? Because with automatic writing, it's more so like just letting what comes through come through, you know, not thinking about it, not analyzing the words, not picking it apart, or the, you know, grammar that's coming through, because that's not important, you know, like, oh, I spelled it wrong, or it doesn't matter. Just bring through whatever's coming through, whether it's a image, you know, like you could see the eagle and write the word eagle, or, you know, maybe draw something that you see, but basically whatever you see, you want to put it into words. Whatever you feel, you want to try to put it into words. Whatever you know is coming in, those are easier to kind of put into words, because you know the words that are coming. And you could even write out questions for yourself to do automatic writing with. It's like, what do you want to ask? What do you want to see? What do you want to know? And then retrieve on that level, you know, by going into the altered state of consciousness and just writing. So then there's trance channeling, which is more so, you know, like a hypnotic type of being. And some of you have seen me do the trance channeling. Basically, I close my eyes, I go within, and I feel like I move away. Like I kind of move up over here to this side of me, or to this side of me, whichever side, and they come in, the guides come into me and they speak for me. So you could have a guide come in to you to speak through you, for you, about what's in the Akashic record that you need to know, or the Akashic records could come into you, and like you could like see them play out within your mind's eye and speak about it, and just kind of you know recite whatever you're seeing or whatever you're experiencing. And then with hypnosis, hypnosis is another way where you can go in. It's again very hypnotic type of experience where you're going to go to altered state of consciousness. Somebody else is going to be guiding you. So I'm sure there's probably 1,000,000,001 YouTube videos about accessing the Akashic records, and they probably have hypnosis and all types, and guided and non-guided, and this medicine and that frequency, and all types of things that they will say is the one. So trust your gut to guide you to what you feel guided to do. And then astral travel is a great way to access them, because in astral travel, like I said, you literally are in control of your etheric body. So leaving behind the limitations of your physical body, you pull yourself up and out. You can go wherever you want to go. And you could open the vortex before you went to bed. Say, I want to open my vortex up to the Akashic records, and then go to sleep or go to bed. Don't go to sleep. Let your body rest and pull yourself. You basically pull your etheric body up out of your physical body into the vortex, and you'll rise up. You'll be able to look back and see your body and see things. So it basically died. I didn't realize that I didn't have it plugged in. So basically what I was saying is, with the astral travel, open the vortex, intend to open it up to the Akashic records, and when you are getting to that place where you're almost asleep but you're not asleep, you want to kind of start to like rock yourself out without moving your body. Imagine that you're rocking your etheric body up and out, out of your limitations, out of your physical body. And then some people roll out of their physical vessel. Some people just sit up and go. Some people do all types of things. So whatever you feel is most natural for you, like if just like letting yourself get pulled up into the energy feels right, just do that. However you can do it, do it. And that's a way that you can basically navigate there and see and connect, because you're in control of the whole thing. So it's kind of like a meditation for some people, because I know some people, when they go into meditation, they go on the full journey. They see the whole movie play out, from beginning to end. So that could be like, basically like that type of a meditation experience, but you're in control of the journey. You're the one that says where you're going and when you're getting there and all of that and how you're getting there. So that's a good way to connect with the Akashic records, is astral traveling. Dream time is another way people connect, but obviously in the dream time you're not going to be as much in control. You could set the intention before you go to sleep at night that tonight I would like to receive information about my records, or the record of this or the record of that, or I want to connect with the Akashic records in my dreams, please, or assist me in remembering connecting with the Akashic records. Set the intention how it feels right, especially if you're somebody that's good at like bringing on dreams about things, because everybody's different. Some people are like dream walkers, where they just basically can like walk in and out of people's dreams, or they can kind of like control their dreams, but it's like a different level than the astral. There's astral dreaming, then there's lucid dreaming, then there's dreaming, and so there's all types of dreaming. So however you feel right, if that makes sense to you, do that. And then some people will take unexpected trips where, like, you're just in a meditation and all of a sudden you find yourself in a library, or all of a sudden you find yourself with some guide that's taking you somewhere, and maybe they hand you a scroll and the scroll is one of your records, or they hand you a book and it's, a record of a life. Or you end up somewhere, or something happens, or you retrieve information in some way or another. Some people just download information, I download a lot of stuff where it's like I don't really necessarily go anywhere or ask for anything, or do something specific, but all of a sudden the information's there, and I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing that now. So you may have something like that unexpected happen too. And then you, like I said earlier, you could have a galactic experience, which is completely, otherworldly. That's not going to be on this realm. It may not be having anything to do with anything physical, and just be like a higher dimensional experience. And then these things, when you do them, when you do connect in the way that makes it, the way that feels right for you to do it, is going to assist you in uncovering who you are. So if you watched the video last night, we were talking about, how the secret mysteries are basically helping you to become one with who you are, figure out who you are, remember who you are, and, ask yourself, who am I? Why am I here? And it's about knowing thyself, which is, again, what basically connecting with the Akashic Records is all about, assisting in uncovering who you are, why you are who you are, because then you're going to get some of the details as to why you are the way you are in this life, or why you, maybe have some phobia, or why you do things a certain way, or why you believe something that you were never taught to believe in this life, or why you know information that you have no reason to know, or why you feel so drawn to something that you have no reason to feel drawn to. And then again, you might connect with your possible future timelines to experience, the things that are in potential form for you, so you can align with which one you want to create, and kind of get the information and the guidance on how to do so. So I did write down some good questions people could ask, or questions that people might want to ask. I'm not sure, I have a hard time doing these things because they're not things I would ask, but I know they're things that other people might want to ask, and I'm like, but don't ask that because it's not good. It's not a good question for you. It is and it isn't, I guess. It's just, it depends on where you're at. So if you're already beyond asking some of these questions, then don't take them. Find something that's more vast or more connected to ask about. But, you could ask about your health. That would be a good thing to ask about in general, is just what can I be doing to be healthier? What can I be doing to prolong my health? You could ask about health of people around you, and how you could, impact those people around you in a positive way health-wise. You could ask about your spiritual gifts and, how to unlock those spiritual gifts. What type of gifts do you have that are the strongest gifts that you have? Because I know a lot of people who come to me are like, what are my gifts? And they don't even know. They don't have a clue where to start, or they do know, and then they just want someone else to confirm it to them. So there's two different people out there. There's some people that have no clue and want to know, and then there's people who just want me to be like, yep, you're right. But either way, you can ask the Akashic Records to confirm for you what your gifts are. And another one would be your origins, to figure out, where you come from, on different levels. You could talk about your life origins in the physical material world, like the earthly plane. You could talk about or ask about, your spiritual world, where do I come from, the spiritual realms, or where do I come from in regards to space and the stars, wherever your origins are. And then you could connect with past lives, so you could ask, which past life do I need to know about the most, or which past life trauma should I be connecting with to heal from, whatever. And then a lot of people ask me this, they'll ask, am I on the right path? And my answer for that is usually we're never really too far off our path. We're usually on our path, and it's our thoughts, our feelings, it's whatever we're doing right then that makes us feel like we're not, because we know we're not. But it's you're still on your path. It's you can't, you're creating the path, so you can't really be off of it. But at the same time, if you're creating a path that you shouldn't be on, then you already have the answer to that question. So it's if you're not feeling in alignment, or you're not feeling good about where you are on your path, then you already know that you should probably be changing your path. But I never feel like anybody's so far off the path that they're lost cause, or that they can't be fixed, or that there's not a reason for where they're at, because sometimes they needed to deal with whatever they're dealing with. But usually when they come to me with that question, they're at the point now where they're no longer going to stay in that experience. Now they're asking the right questions to acknowledge and get out of being on that path that they have been on. So that's one of those questions that I like. I like it and I don't like it, because I'm like, you're really okay, but you know, if you're asking it, then ask yourself why you're asking it. And then can I enhance it or get back on track? So like, if you're on the right path, is there a way to enhance your path? Or if you're not on your right path, is there a way to get back on track with your path? How can I attract abundance? That's something, again, a lot of people ask me about, is how can I manifest this? How can I manifest that? How can I get to XYZ? Or how do I do this? How do I, you know, make so-and-so do this? And you could ask those types of questions and see what the Akashic Records have to say about you and abundance, and why you may be not attracting it, or why you are blocked to something, or why something is not playing out the right way between you and another individual, or family members, and fights and arguments, and getting the answers to all of those things. And then you can ask about your life purpose, you know, like, what is my life purpose? And how can I achieve my life purpose? Those are things that I get asked a lot, where people want to know, like, what they're here for, like, what is the purpose for them, and how can they achieve that. And I give my answers, but I also, again, feel very strongly that those are those questions you've got to answer on your own. And by going within to go to the Akashic Records, you kind of are, because you're the one that's navigating in to your information that's already your information, to remember it, to access it, to connect with it, to get that information that's already innately inside of you, that, you know, I feel like is best found by going within. I don't think anybody else outside of you should be like, this is your life purpose and this is what you should be doing and exactly how you should get there. I don't mind giving people advice on what I feel would be a good fit for them, or, you know, give them advice on something that they're already doing, on how to make it better. But I feel like when it comes down to like making a big decision about what you're going to do for your life purpose, you should literally try to go within more on that one, and, you know, ask the Akashic Records if you're going to ask anything, but try not to take anybody outside of you for, you know, like a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you come and ask me, like, take it as a grain of salt. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Because there's people out there who would be like, well, that's my life purpose, I'm going to do it. And that's why I don't like those types of questions. And then we can do past life contracts and what they're impacting now. So like, what past life contract is impacting me negatively right now? How do I clear these contracts? You know, is there something I can do? Soul retrieval, past life regression. Is there some sort of healing that I should be doing? Is there some sort of, you know, practice that I should be doing? Is there some sort of ritual that I should be connecting to on a regular basis, you know, to help me to release whatever it is that I could be doing? What limiting beliefs do I have that I need to let go of? Because our beliefs are huge. If you're believing things that are not positive, or things that are wrong about yourself or about life or about whatever, you're going to see a wrong reality. You're going to see things that are not right. You're going to attract things that are not good. You're going to block yourself to the abundance. You're going to cut yourself off to the flow. And then who are my guides, you could ask. You know, I get that a lot too, is like, who's my guide, and how do I connect with them? So you could ask those types of things, and your guides may show up specifically for you right there in front of you and be like, hey, we're your guides, and this is how you connect with us, by asking. And then what you might need to know most, and what blocks are preventing me from whatever it is that you feel like you're being prevented from, whatever it is you think you need to know the most at. You know, it's like, just let me know what you think I need to know the most, or if there's a certain area in my life that I'm blocked, tell me where I'm blocked and how I can break through that block. And then some people might want to know how to like control their mind a little bit better, or to control their emotions a little bit better if they get like really like anxious a lot, or they get, you know, those ups and those downs, if they're like manic one minute and then sad the next. How can I be more in control of my like emotional body, my mental body, and like the way that those two interact with each other? And how do I overcome my anxiety and my insecurities would be another one too. So those are ones that, they're there. I feel like giving those may help jog other ones in people's mind and be like, oh, I could ask this. Oh, I could ask that. And like I said, you can write these down and, ask to retrieve the information through automatic writing, just writing back your answer real quick, or slow, however it comes through. Or you could do it through dreaming, astral travel, however, trance-channeling, meditation, sound healing, whatever one feels appropriate for you to do. Those are all different ways you can do it. And like I said, definitely try it with the vortex. Close your eyes, open up the vortex, however it feels appropriate for you to do it. I would recommend that you intend to, have your vortex connect, like you want to connect with the Akashic records, right? Instead of asking for Alcyone or asking for Sirius or asking for anywhere, I would ask to open my vortex in that energy of the Akashic records, so that the top diamond is housing the Akashic records, or the pieces of the Akashic records that I need to get to. So I'd be like, can we house my Akashic records in my top diamond, please? Like, I want to open my vortex with the top diamond encompassing my, Akashic records that I need to access today. So I set that intention, and then I go through the visualization of seeing that top diamond open up from the Akashic records, encompassing all of that information, crisscrossing around me, protecting me, and allowing me to be safe in my, sacred space. And then down beneath me, crisscrossing down into the earth to ground and stabilize and keep me safe there and protected and stable, and, safe from like going off into nowhere. And then I would ask for a pillar of information and frequency and whatever is housed up there that's needing to be known to come down through the center of the vortex into the crown, to integrate it into all of the chakras. So like I can allow myself to know it with my crown chakra. I can allow myself to see it with my third eye. I can allow myself to speak it or hear it, communicate it with my ears and my throat. I can, feel it in my heart. I can feel empowered in my solar plexus, by these records, and I can, balance out my relationships as a result of these records, or I can feel more balanced in my relationship with self, and I can feel stable and connected and grounded and secure and safe with this energy, and then ground it all the way down. And when you feel good enough, you can either write, or you can go into meditation and just see something or feel something or know something, or however you are guided to connect. And then after you're done connecting, if you didn't write from the get-go to do automatic writing, journal what you experienced so that you have something to kind of reflect back on, and try it more than once, and try it in different ways, because you may not have found your exact way of your best way of meditating, your best way of connecting, or even just your best way of connecting with the Akashic records, especially if you've never connected with the Akashic records. You may connect with them a little bit differently from how you connect with other things. So what I'm going to do now is just a quick little Earth's Akashic meditation. So it's going to be on the channel for free, and you guys are welcome to use that as well to get you into the right energies for your homework of connecting and receiving. So whatever comes up in the meditation, write it down, and then your homework's done. But I do recommend, trying it on your own. Try to get into the habit of not always being guided by me or being guided by someone else. Like, try to get into the habit of, I'm going to be able to do this for myself. That's like the point of going through the activations. That's the point of going through all of the teachings, is so that you can start being this channel, so you can start doing these things on your own. All right, so thank you guys for bearing with me in my pajamas and my sleepless energy. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you for the meditation in Munay. Namaste.